Township Board to order. Roll call, please.
Wade. Yes. Vickers. Yes. Henning.
Present.
Calatini.
Here.
Diesel here.
I'll stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everyone this evening. Public comment.
Yeah, where does our township board stand with this MEA voting down this, our governor's tax increases for fuel and registration fee?
MEA.
MTA.
Oh, MTA.
Because I'm quoting from June in the State Journal this weekend,
Yeah.
how the MTA basically flat told the governor that we're not going to do this. So what's the MTA's position on this?
I was kind of flabbergasted that they did that. The townships are the ones that are most affected by it, but they voted the resolution down.
So you guys got some plan how to come up with this extra money then?
I voted for it.
I just figured you were the
I don't have any
supervisor, you were
idea.
the higher ups, you guys should have known what was going on, right?
Well,
Looks like I caught you by surprise. Maybe I'll go to the clerk. You know anything about this?
I did not attend the conference.
No.
the MTA's position and what the state's gonna do, I don't think have very much correlation. Looks like they're just gonna do what they wanna do. I mean, they just, I see today they're gonna move the legislation that has come out of the House to eliminate the road commissioners. So that's going to the governor's desk and they're moving along at a pretty fast pace, but I've seen several proposals. I don't think they've really come up with a plan yet. They're gonna come up with more revenue, but I don't think it's gonna happen before,
So it's Michigan Township's position. I mean, they don't seem to like that. I mean, what are they gonna do? Nothing? You don't have an answer for me.
I have no idea what they're gonna do, Dave.
What was the reasoning to eliminate the road commissions?
Some counties, the road commission doesn't work as well as
To
others.
save money or do a better job or what? Both? That's statewide, that's everything.
I think in Ingham County, the perception is that the commissioners want the control and they didn't like the fact the road commission was doing things, what they were doing, and they figured that even though those were the people that they put on there, they decided that they'd really just eliminate the road commission and go different directions.
No.
So, right now, the Ingham County Commissioners have passed a resolution stating that as soon as it's legal, they're gonna disband the road commission. It's my understanding that today there was a meeting when Don, I think, talked about the road commissioners are before county services and they're trying to plead their case, I think, but.
So the state's gonna run everything?
No, it'll be run by the commissioners.
Oh,
It's my understanding that they'll appoint a advisory board similar to the 911 advisory board, and they'll give the managing director, I guess, oversight.
Yeah, I think even if they pass the bill at the state, that the county doesn't have to eliminate the road
They
commission.
don't have
just
to,
because.
no.
But they can if they want.
oh,
It looks like they're gonna have a 3-year window, that if they're gonna do anything, they'll have to do it. And some road commissions are elected,
yeah.
and those will have to go through a vote of the people to eliminate it. But Ingham County's has always been appointed. So they can do whatever they want. So,
Let's come up with more stump to chump questions or what?
you know, there's a lot of things you could ask me I don't know about, Dale, so you can knock yourself out.
I was already gonna ask you about the DOT stuff, so.
Any other public comment? Any additions or adjustments to the agenda? Hearing none, the agenda will stand as presented. Minutes from last month's meeting. Any questions, comments, corrections? Hearing none, the minutes will stand as presented. Thank you, Mrs. Fiesel. Treasurer's report, Patty?
I wrote in your comments unless someone else does. Tax day is Tuesday, the 14th.
Any questions questions of Patty and the treasurer's report? Thank you, Patty.
You're welcome.
We have before you this month's bills. Any questions, comments about the bills? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to pay the bills.
I'll
Make
make
a-
it. Go ahead, Fred.
Make a motion to pay the bills, the amount of $22,522.62.
I have a motion on the floor to pay the bills. Support?
I will support that.
Any further discussion on the bills? Roll call, please.
Palatini?
Yes.
Vickers?
Yes.
Henny?
Yes.
Wade?
Yes.
Cecil, yes.
Motion carries. Cemetery report, Judy?
Okay, our next cemetery meeting is gonna be March 13th, at 8 o'clock in the morning at the JR Hall. We're just kind of trying to get some loose ends taken care of. We're still waiting on the survey. And, you know, cutting trees, trimming trees, getting ready for the flags, deciding who's buying them, how we're buying them, you know, all those good things. So hopefully the 13th, you know, we'll have a lot of these questions answered and taken care of.
You see, they got quite a few of the trees down
I
here
know.
trimmed out.
And I can't say enough how happy we are with Ron. Ron is absolutely
Did he
wonderful.
do that?
He's been over there, yeah.
He did it himself?
He's done a lot of
No,
it
they
himself.
hired a tree,
Yeah,
but yeah.
but this one over here, he's been working
Yes.
on, yeah. He does everything he can himself. If he can't, then we have to
You
go
can
out.
do a nice job with it.
They really do.
Any questions of Judy? Fire department report, I met today with Bruce and we had a nice meeting and he had put this, kind of a synopsis of the 2011 fire year. And so I made copies and for everybody to kind of look it over, but thought it was interesting that they had over 80 fire runs last year. That's more than I would expect they'd have in a year's time. So,
You have to say what was going on last night. Was that
Well,
a fire run or was that?
Kurt Thomas's house out here on Bellevue Road, pretty well burned up.
West Bellevue? or-
Yeah. Back there,
Wow.
He
The
used
one
to for
way
that.
back in?
where you get to Hunt Road there, you know, that.
The log
back in
house.
there.
Before you get to water, though.
I'm at Walk Road, I'm sorry.
I was getting ready to go to bed and I hear sirens. And I thought somebody else got held up for a minute there, but I didn't know whether it was
Unfortunately,
fire department or police.
he's had, what did he tell me, he had five
Five.
fires in the last 7 days or something?
Yeah,
don't
something like- I know.
It's been.
I know they're a
really-
little tired.
Yeah, no, all of them are after midnight or.
This department's gone out?
Yeah. And then they get up and go to work the next day, so they're a little bit of,
Well, they had the one in Rives, they had Kurt's, they had a barn fire out here on Ewers Road in Bunker Hill Township. Mr. Knopf's,
yeah.
Oh, that was Jerry Moss, so.
Jerry or his son, I'm not sure which one. There was another one somewhere.
There's another, I can't think either.
There's been 2 over on Main Street in Rives in the last
Yeah.
2 weeks or 3 weeks or something like that, so.
What's causing all these fires? Wood burners or something?
I don't think any of them are the same. It doesn't sound,
Well, the barn fire was a heat lamp or something that they got knocked over, caught the straw on fire, and it's, I guess that.
one in Rice, wasn't that wiring or something?
Catherine thought that on the news, she heard about the Kurt's fire and they thought it was electrical, I guess, of some sort.
Was that right in the house? The house
Yeah,
itself?
yeah.
Yeah, it was on the news today twice. There's
Yeah.
a lot of,
Must have-
yeah, it was bad.
Once it got going, it really went.
Well, and then the issue was getting water because it is out, you know, so you had to drive, get the water and come back and,
Yeah, it must be what they were doing,
Tankers
back and
and-
forth for fill-ups on that. Well, I thought they had a pump or a creek out there that they sucked water out of.
Yeah, I don't know why they could, there is a creek there, but whether it's,
It'll be enough.
why they didn't use that, I'm
Would
not
it be
sure.
too gunky this time of year to run?
I don't know.
No.
I don't think it'd make any difference. Anyway, so you can look that over and just kind of gives you a synopsis, a few things going on at the fire department. Any other questions on the fire department? Zoning, Jerry?
Basically fairly quiet. I did, have another address sent to me for our problem property on Ingalls Road, so I sent a letter out and I got the signed receipt and certified mail yet that they got it, but we're trying that, plus I forwarded information to the attorney. But as he mentioned, we need an address to have the property owner served, or we'll have to go through the posting process through the paper and all that, so it's underway.
Any questions of Jerry? Thank you, Jerry. Resolution 11-12-3. Mrs. Fiesel, you want to talk about this?
This is our annual resolution for our MERS change, which is always on the employee side because the employer side is a set fee. We have to do this annually. Our new rate is 0.79.
Any questions about the resolution? I'd entertain a motion for resolution number 11-12-3.
Also move to adopt resolution 11-12-3.
A motion on the floor, support?
I'll support.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Vickers.
Yes.
Henny.
Yes.
Wade.
Yes.
Beasley, yes. Galatine.
Yes.
Resolution is passed. Budget amendment, carpeting, $5,000. Sherry?
Patty and I met with the carpet people, and in your package, you'll see the estimates that we were given. We were given two estimates. One was for $5,796.18, and that was for the roll carpet with a great big piece. And the squares in the exact same carpet, but they come in carpet squares, the estimate came in at $8,475.78. And when he was here, he didn't want to really give us a recommendation, but he said that he didn't have any problem with the way our township hall was set up doing the roll carpeting. He said a lot of times he prefers the squares, but he said in our situation, he really didn't have a preference.
Did he, have any, was he gonna compensate anything for the fact that it didn't wear well, or?
Well, that wasn't really his fault though.
Yeah.
I mean, we did ask for the exact same carpet. He
Yeah.
did get us the exact same carpet, and it just did not wear the same way that it did.
I didn't know if
first.
they, if he stood behind it at all.
He didn't mention anything about
No.
giving us any kind of a rebate or anything, so.
Okay.
I do have to say that we've
Yeah.
had a couple issues with it, and he's come back to repair it for free and not giving us any problem at all, so.
It was the same carpet, I don't.
But it wasn't, somehow the manufacturer changed something, it wasn't, they're.
Now, is this
I was
a better
talking
Oh, I'm
about
sorry, I
the
thought you
bids
meant
there,
this is a better
grade
it's
this
a lot
time?
cheaper
This
to
is
go
a
with the
better grade,
50.
this is the grade that they put like in schools and stuff, is that correct? Yeah.
Is that downstairs,
Mm-hmm,
the whole thing?
mm-hmm.
It's got some
It's
really
very,
nasty
very
stains
bad.
on it that we cannot get up.
He did not discourage using the squares,
Mm-hmm.
but he did say the roll would work just as well. Sherry and I've done the hard work, we've picked out exactly the right color and everything, so it's up to you guys to decide which way you want to
It
go.
wasn't hard.
So, I mean, if we don't like pink, it's too bad. Do you have a sample to show us?
Yeah, unless there's a good
No,
reason.
He didn't leave the samples with us. It was it was kind of a
Nice
dark,
to
the
see.
navies and stuff mixed in, so like
Yeah.
things won't show, the stains won't
Good.
show.
Yeah, I would say it's a darker carpet than what's down there now.
Oh, yes,
Sure,
it could be
yes.
darker. So anyway, if you're in favor of, you need to tell me which one you want me to pursue, and also I would like you to approve a budget amendment of $5,000 from contingency to hall repair and maintenance to help pay for the cost of that carpeting, if that's what you would like to do.
Did you have an opinion as to which way you thought was the better way to go?
According to what he was telling us for our township hall, it's gonna be fine either way. And obviously, there was a great difference in the price there. So, I mean, if he was gonna say the squares, oh, you definitely need to go with the squares for this reason or that reason, but he didn't tell us that. In fact, he came right out and told us he thought that the regular roll carpet was fine for us.
So
If you get like a big burn or something in your carpet, they can come and do a plug, as long as your carpet's not too worn. I mean, there are other ways to repair it other than just these squares.
I think for the price difference, that probably the cheaper amount.
And it was also mentioned something about, and I can't remember if it was you that said or he, but tables and chairs can get caught in the corners of those squares and pull them up. So the squares aren't the perfect solution either. And we obviously have chairs, tables and chairs downstairs.
I go with the cheaper amount.
Spoken like a.
was that a motion?
Do I need a motion for that?
Like a man?
Are you looking just for a general board consensus, or you want to?
Why don't we just make it all into one motion, which one you'd like to go with and kind of to the amendment?
So I'll make a motion to go with the $5,796.18.
Okay?
I'll support.
And would that be in conjunction with the budget amendment? Or do you want to make a separate motion for that?
What do you want? What do you think?
I think we've got to transfer, you have to make a budget amendment to do it, so.
Okay, you wanna make a budget amendment then, Fred?
Well,
We wanna share this back and forth.
we have a motion on the floor to accept this proposal for $57.96.18.
Okay.
Let's just, we have a support for that.
Fred supported.
Fred support. Any further discussion on this motion? Roll call.
Henning,
Yes.
Wade,
Yes.
Diesel, yes. Palatine.
Yes.
Vickers.
Now we're in need to do a budget amendment for the contingency for $5,000 to hall repair and maintenance.
Make a motion to amend the budget for $5,000 for carpet.
The transfer from contingency to,
Oh, we have, okay, transfer it from contingency to the hall repair and maintenance fund,
okay,
$999 to $930.
have a motion.
I'll support that.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Wade,
Yes.
Diesel, yes. Palatine.
Yes.
Vickers.
Yes.
Henning.
Yes, motion carries. Planning Commission reappointments, we have Todd and Laverne Eldred, Bob Fogg, and Fred Palatini's terms are up. And just look for a motion to reappoint those
How many
folks.
do you have, 4 or 3?
For Todd and Laverne Eldred, Bob Fogg, and Fred as the board representative.
Fred, do you want to do it again?
Sure.
Okay, good.
So that's my recommendation, that you reappoint.
Oh, I'm
those.
sorry, I didn't know you were giving recommendations. I missed that part of your statement. Go ahead.
Pay attention.
I know, I fell asleep there for a second. I'm sorry, I apologize.
Would you like to make a motion?
Sure, I would be glad to. I'll move that we reappoint Todd Eldred, Laverne Eldred, Bob Fogg, and Fred Palatini to the Planning Commission for another term.
I have a motion on the floor.
I'll support.
Support. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Diesel, yes. Palatine.
Yes.
Vickers.
Yes.
Henning.
Yes.
Wade.
Yes.
Congratulations to all involved. Election inspectors, Sherry, you wanna fill us in on that quickly?
Your memo's the last piece in your packet. And, the election inspectors that have been appointed, this is for the February 28th presidential primary. They're appointed by our election commission, but I always put a memo in there for your information, so you know what's going on. I'm not sure if Deb's gonna be back or not, but, sure her name is on that list.
Okay. The board is so informed, thank you. Legal correspondence, Sherry?
I have well, that's yours, I'll let you do that. I have something from environmental health that just talks about healthy recreation space. And that's all I have, because I'm assuming you're gonna talk about the thing from our attorney?
In regard to our ag permit?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, was that all?
That's it.
Fred, did you have anything? Judy?
We, Fred and I went to a Parks and Recreation meeting last week. And just little updates on the softball tournaments, July 14th. Gus Macker's July 21st, 22nd. We're trying to start a Friends of the Library, or Friends of the Pool group, get my friends groups mixed up here. The new pavilion they're gonna be working on in the spring.
Where's that gonna be?
The park, for the one that they had to tear down because it was
Oh, in Russell
no,
Park?
yeah, no longer safe. And they're talking, you know, on a wish list of maybe a snow hill, building one somewhere in the city there so kids could go sledding if we ever have snow. You know, and just update on the pool grant and all these good things that are going on and lots of wishes for different.
I think the big push was on the pool fund there. I see that, they had a little article in the paper, pennies for pool, that
Pennies
the
for
kids are
pool,
putting
they're
out there,
really
trying to generate a
trying
little
to-
excitement for it there, and so I,
Well, they have containers around places, do they?
They did, I don't know if they still do, it was just one family that was doing it.
Oh, okay.
but they're accepting donations from
Mhm.
the public if, you guys,
They're
anybody feels inclined to
trying to
donate.
keep it going, and the grant's really going to help a lot as far as the plumbing and getting the diving pool ready and
How much do they need for their match?
their match.
67,000.
Yeah.
67?
Well, they got a grant for 67,000,
Well,
and,
what-
the match
match
is
is
gotta
50.
be 67,000 too.
But, you know, they're looking on down the road, you know, to getting, there's always needs. Is there anything else, Fred? Can you think of
I was
anything
trying
else?
to remember. He said something about walkable trails and safe,
Yeah,
routes for
that's been something that's
a
been a
grant,
discussion for a
kind of
long
a
time. Yeah, there's always, you know,
tank
getting
grant for
grants,
that.
trying to write grants for making walkable trails and.
Now, doesn't that, plan have to be rewritten here pretty soon or updated? When's the deadline for that?
Isn't that December, I think?
2012.
Yeah, 2012,
It's been
December.
extended through 2012.
Well, this is 2012.
I know.
Yeah, but December.
December, okay, okay.
Thanks.
That's coming pretty quick.
I think about that for a second.
Turning
It's
Maple
just-
Street into a sled hill, that was always good for sledding. Do a lot of sledding down there.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlie Barrels, that's filled in now, but
Yeah. I don't know, talking about different areas that, oh gosh, I'm trying to think, down across from, well, Pete Zamora, where he lives, there on Race, across the street there, there's an empty lot.
you're in a hill there though?
No,
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
that's the little clincher there, you know.
I think that's the first thing I look for.
Yeah, building it,
You're
you know, you
considering
gotta.
a site.
But you know, if you could find enough people that had filled dirt, they were trying to, or somebody
Oh,
wanted to
yeah.
just dump stuff somewhere and they were talking about trying to, I don't know, Bob.
Do they have the
Main
ice
Street's
skating
pretty good.
anymore down there in the
There
softball
on
field?
that outlaw
They
balls
had
and
for
stuff.
several years.
Well, it's just because we haven't had the weather for it, or I mean,
And, you know, they gotta have somebody, I know the firemen did it there a few years down where the basketball court's at,
oh, they could ice skate there?
yeah. But there again, you know, weather hasn't exactly been,
Mm.
He did talk a little bit about the Joint Planning Commission too, that they had not a whole lot, but you're probably more up to date on that than what we got. We got just a little bit of a blurb that said they were trying to get a little money to get this thing together yet, and it hadn't quite come around or
That's an accurate assessment.
something of that sort. But they're still hopeful to get it
It's
going.
a work in progress.
A lot of wishes.
Well, you have to have a vision.
Dreams.
You have to have an idea what you'd like to do, and then you try to make it happen. So,
Yeah, Leslie's, Brian is, we're really lucky to have him. He's a good
He's very
city
good.
manager.
Excellent,
Very good.
excellent.
you can edit that part out.
And with the township having
forgot
the
we
wonderful
gotta take that.
supervisor working together.
Yeah, we try not to have any fist fights if we can help it. Okay, Patty, do you have anything for us?
No, just talking about the city, I don't know, I think it's public information that Brian is adopted a child, so he has an infant in his life that he's sitting up nights with.
He looked a little frazzled today, but he was doing all right. He mentioned he isn't getting a lot of sleep.
And I think we all heard about, Sherry sent the thing about Ron's wife, Ron Simons' wife.
Any update on that? She's still
I haven't really-
changed?
We were supposed to meet with the doctor today, but I don't know what time.
She's still in coma?
Ron Simons' wife, Sally.
She fell, she had a stroke and she fell.
There was one issue that I wanted to update the board on. We had a local person that wanted to build an ag building in the township, and since I've been involved in township government in 1996, we've always asked people to get a no-charge permit for any ag buildings that they wanted to build. And the purpose of that primarily was to give the assessor the information on the building so she could accurately apply it to the tax rolls, and we would go out and inspect the site and make sure that there was no setback issues and things like that, and that was pretty much the end of our involvement. And this particular constituent felt that we didn't need to have, by state law, that he didn't have to have a permit. So him and I had a meeting one day and we talked about it, and rather than just take his word for it, I decided I would converse with the attorney. And quite frankly, the fact that we called it an actual building permit, even though it was a no-charge ag building permit, the state statute was very clear that you cannot require anyone to have to pull any type of an ag permit for any reason for an ag building. So, I informed the fellow that the fact that he didn't want to pull one, or there wasn't anything we could do about it, and he was happy, and I guess we're in the process of reevaluating how we're gonna handle that. We still think it's important that people come in and let us know what they're gonna build, where they're gonna build it, so we can keep them out of trouble and they don't build too close to their neighbors, and we do get accurate information for the assessor. So I think the fact that we had terminology as a building permit, we're just gonna change. We certainly could change the terminology and call it a zoning, a building location permit, or whatever we decide to call it. And quite frankly, in that environment, if we chose to, we could even charge for it. I don't think that's the intent of the board, at least from what I understand, to do that, but it is something that we could do if we wanted to. But so it was an educational thing for me, and quite frankly, we've never had anybody argue over a no-charge permit. But he was technically correct, and so I may even come back to the board at some point in time and ask which way, do we want to continue to ask for a no-charge building permit, even though we can't force anybody to do it. We can certainly ask somebody, or do we want to create another form, or what do we want to do? I'm not sure how we want to do that yet, but normally what people argue about is whether or not it's a qualified ag building. And that's what Dick Robinson thought I was calling about, that somebody was arguing about whether their building was gonna be, an ag building or not. I said, no, I had no argument about that, it was just whether, and he was pretty adamant about the whole thing. So anyway, it was a learning the end of the day, we can't force someone to pull a building permit, even if it's no charge, so.
So when does the assessor get involved in this? As soon as the building's up, they go out and measure it, somebody's gotta, it's going on the tax roll somehow, right?
Well, I don't know.
That's how it goes on the tax roll. And to be perfectly honest with you, it's in their best interest to do that, because when I get to their section, I do my sections every year, when I find that building, they don't get off scot-free, they have to go back and pay the taxes for all those years that they missed, plus penalty, plus interest. And I don't think most people wanna do that. I think they prefer to just start paying when they're supposed to start paying.
And I think that the worst case scenario is if you go out and build a building and you build it too close to your neighbor's line, and quite frankly, we could force you to move it. And, you know, you could tear it down and have to move it, and that would not be a pleasant thing to have happen, so it's just, it was just unfortunate, and this particular person, he was just trying to make a point that he didn't have to do it.
But
Nothing I
he
can do about it.
provided all the information to us.
Oh, of
He just did
course.
not wanna pull the permit, but, you know, I just think this is solved so easily, because I hate to see us spend any money, because permits to have those printed, they're very, very expensive to have those 5-card permits printed. If there's gonna be an issue, just cross off the word building, because that's the whole issue here. Call it a, whatever you wanna call it, but it's the building is the word that we can't charge them for, so just cross off the word building if anybody gives you a problem.
I doubt very much if we'll ever have this issue.
I don't think you'll ever have that issue again, I don't, but if you do, I mean, there's a simple solution to it, just cross off the word building. Cause it's the same, we would ask them for the same information, and we are not charging them.
Anyway, that was my,
Learning experience for the month.
it's one of those situations where you, think you're right, but you're not.
You're wrong.
Really?
I used the word learning experience. I thought that was pretty good.
What constitutes an ag building?
Sherry, you wanna?
Something that is going to be used for only agricultural purposes. I mean, you can never like park a motorcycle in there or anything like that, because as soon as you do that, that changes the use of the building.
Boy, you could tag just about anybody with an ag building with a definition like that.
Well, that's what the definition is.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you go out there and say a motorcycle, I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, but Dale, just think about the guy that comes in and says he's gonna build an ag building because he doesn't wanna pay for the permit. He still has to pay the taxes on it.
Yeah.
So the only thing that you're gonna get him for is the permit fee. I mean, it's not like his taxes are any different. I think most people that come in and say they're gonna build an ag permit are being very truthful, and they have to sign an affidavit.
Where it really becomes an issue is if you wanna build a garage, maybe to park your car, the building code is much different for a residential garage than it is for a pole barn for a farmer to store seed corn in or whatever he's gonna put in there. And you know, it's cheaper to build just a regular old barn than it is to build a, you know, residential garage to code. So that's one of the reasons why they like to go that route if they can get away with it. I mean, I think that Sherry has asked me, and, you know, several times when people come in, and we all know who the farmers are in the community and who is a, you know, if Jerry, as an example, came in and said, I wanna pull an ag building, you know, well, you know he's not a farmer, so the first question is, well, what are you gonna use it for, you know? And Sherry's pretty clever about asking the right questions when they really don't suspect what she's getting at. And usually most people are not gonna use it for ag purposes, they use it for non-ag purposes. And I don't think that we're gonna go out and look into everybody's windows and see if they've got a motorcycle in their ag
Or a
barn
lawnmower.
or whatever.
Lawn tractor doesn't qualify as an ag.
It does not.
What is stipulated in the building code.
Keep that right until I get down to that.
Gotta move it. They gotta move it.
You are a violator, Bob.
One of the worst.
You could nail just about every farmer with that definition, I guarantee none of them would pass.
Of course.
My cat's even sleeping in mine. What am I gonna do with
But
that?
you know very well, Dale, it's not just one motorcycle or just
Yeah.
whatever reason.
You can, I mean, it's one of those things that you have to use some judgment on, and I don't think it's a secret that if you're a farmer in Leslie Township, that you could probably get away with a lot more things than you can if you're not, and it's that way in a lot of different townships in rural areas, so. It's because we were here first.
We're
special. Well, ain't many of us left, I'll tell you that. Keep weeding us out. So, anyway, any further board comments? Public comment, final?
Let's go back to the city again. You didn't really hash out too much. We canceled the February planning commission meeting. Are we gonna have one in March now? I mean, are you getting through this? Are we gonna go on to something else, forget about the city and just go on our own master plan? And
I thought you and Jerry decided that.
oh, we didn't decide that. I mean, you guys are talking something up there tonight. It's coming up about those people down with the joint planning commission meeting. Is that gonna be part of the same thing, Jerry, or not?
It's not a joint planning commission meeting. The joint planning commission doesn't exist anymore. It's just Dallas and I, Jerry have been gone down talking to Sherry, Brian, and Pam Beagle. So it's not a joint planning commission. I mean, I just think we should make that clear. It's nothing more than a discussion about whether we're gonna even take it to our planning commissions for discussion. I mean, we're in the discussion whether we're gonna discuss it phase.
You know, the planning commission can certainly have a meeting if you have something else that you wanna discuss other than the master plan at this point. And part of the reason why, and Jerry, correct me if I'm wrong, that they've been canceled is because that was kind of what the next step was gonna be, but we haven't gotten there yet, so I mean, if there's another issue that needs to be addressed, you guys can certainly do that. I mean, you and Jerry can put your heads together and come up with if you wanna have a meeting, you certainly can have a meeting. So, but like Sherry says, they are not joint planning commission. There is no such thing as a joint planning commission right now. We're just talking about whether or not we want to go down that road or not.
I thought that was part of the leading up to this, land use thing that we were working on. I thought that's why we're dragging this out a little bit.
I think if we go down the joint planning commission route, that those two will be married at the hip, yes. And that's part of why it's taking longer than what we would like, but we wanna make sure we do it. If we do it at all, we wanna make sure we do it right, so. It's taking more time.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't that rescheduled, not canceled? The
Or
planning commission meeting?
we canceled the one in February that we were supposed to have because of the meeting coming up the 23rd, to see if anything came out of that.
But it wasn't rescheduled for March?
Not yet.
No, my posting is incorrect. That I posted on the I will have to change that.
Any other public comment? Jerry, you have-
Just for information about the ag building, we already do have, items in the zoning ordinance that specifies a zoning permit. So if we do run into the situation where they dispute the word building permit, all we have to do is change it from building to zoning. It would be the same requirement.
There you go.
I have the 7th of March down for planning commission meeting.
Might happen yet, you don't know. I'll go back there and twist his
Did
arm,
you
won't
read
we?
that on your memo?
Yeah, I read
think
that on
that's what your
something.
memo said. I'll have to go back and investigate.
Hmm.
Anybody else have anything they wanna discuss?